Hello, and welcome to this training module, Scoring in the SJCC, in this case using the PCS app, Play Cricket Scorer app. I'm Dave Walter, I'm your tutor. I'm part of the SJCC management team with a particular focus on under 16s and upwards. I'm also chair of the Surrey Association of Cricket Officials. We look after umpires and scorers within the county. The main league contact is Sarah Lynch. She's competitions officer and her details are there. And as a scorer, your main contact within the ACO would be Martin Holloway Neville. He's the county scorers officer and his contact details are there. We're happy to take contacts from any of you should you have any questions. Part of the SJCC's work is to develop umpires and scorers. As part of that, we've developed a set of training modules. We're calling them snack size rather than bite size because they're a bit longer than bite size. We've broken the scorer training into 4. There's an overview module, which hopefully you'll have seen. It covers the basics of scoring, the mechanics of the interaction with umpires, what all the signals mean, etc. And then we have 3 specific modules for putting that into practice. So one for pairs scoring, this one using the PCS app, and a 4th one for scoring open matches in a full scorebook. And there is a complementary set of training for umpires looking at developing umpires for junior cricket in the same way as we're looking to develop scorers for junior cricket. Quick recap, scorers' duties are to accept signals from the umpires, although if you can quietly correct them when they miscount the balls, that's not a bad thing. To acknowledge every signal that an umpire makes so that they know they've communicated that information to you. To record that information and to check with your colleague. Make sure as you're going along you've both got the same score. It's much easier than trying to pick up the pieces at the end of an innings or at the end of a match when the score records don't match. Okay, so we're looking at the PCS app tonight, and to make that work we need to do a certain amount of background work. We need to register with Play Cricket. Play Cricket, for those of you that have seen your team's figures on it, is a website that's basically got 2 modes of operation. It's an open website for reading in the sense that anybody can navigate to the website and read the published public information on it. But we want to add information to it as scorers, so we have to be known to it. So one of the things we have to do, well, the first thing we have to do is to register with Play Cricket as a whole, which is generally giving our email address and a small number of personal details. We then need to go to whichever club that we want to score for and ask for membership of that club on its Play Cricket website. So this is not you paying a fee each year to be a member. It's a once-off activity to become a member of the club's website and therefore be able to update it and change it. And when the club approves that, it will give you certain roles and permissions, which allows you to do different things. Play Cricket has got security control in it to allow you to be club secretary and do almost anything, or to be somebody quite straightforward as a scorer who can only add score information to the system. They can't see membership details, etc. They can see the public information, but not some of the more secure information. So it's a good system in terms of its range of security and data protection. Play Cricket itself has developed a lot over the years and now has a very extensive set of help files and tutorials, which can be found at www.playcricket.com. It's really quite robust now. Anybody who tried it 3 or 4 years ago might have seen it as quite ropey and flaky. A lot of work has been put in over the last few years, and it's now quite a robust tool and becoming more and more the centre of cricket management for a lot of clubs. How do you register with Play Cricket? Well, if you navigate to playcricket.com and click the sign in button, you'll get a screen that comes up like this, which offers you the login, which if you're not registered you can't do, but does allow you to register. So clicking on that button and entering the information required will allow you to register with Play Cricket. Then to join the club website, if you log in to Play Cricket anywhere and navigate to your club's website, so the easiest way is to go to your club's website and log in, and you'll know you're logged in because your name will appear in the top panel. If you hover over that, you get a menu option, and one of which is join this site. So if you click on that, a request will go off to your club's administrator, and they will give you permission to be a member of the site and the permissions to be a scorer. So that's the background stuff. You have to do that once you're set up on Play Cricket and with the club. You don't ever have to do it again. In terms of using the app, this is what you would do each time you wanted to score a match. Now, hopefully, on your club's Play Cricket site, the match will be set up, and certainly all the junior championship matches will be, because we as a league administration team have set them up and they're all established on the system. The parameters of how the match is played will also have been set up by us. Hopefully, your club at the beginning of the season has recorded which players are in the squad, at least for the team that you're scoring for. And if you're really lucky, they'll have entered the team the day before the game onto Play Cricket, so all the information is there. If that's the case and you've got your Play Cricket account, you can log in and download the match. That will give you all the framework, all the background information, and allow you to upload the result onto your club's website at the end, which is one of the biggest benefits of scoring electronically. However, so that you can do it and so you understand what's going on behind the scenes, in this session, we're going to work through everything manually. So, setting up a match. If you've downloaded the app onto your phone, then you will, when you come to the app, you'll see this sort of screen. Now, if you've got an account, you can log in, put your username and password in, and if you're like me, you've got access to multiple sites, because I work in different organizations at different times. I have to select which club I'm looking for. Most of you will probably only be associated with one club, so you won't actually ever see that screen. But just in case you see it, that's why it's there, because you've got permissions to do different things in different places. But we're going to ignore that. Today, we're going to click on the Other Matches button, and that will pop us up a screen that allows us either to use a match we've previously downloaded or to create a new match. And that's what we're going to do today. So if you click on Custom Matches, you'll get this screen. And if you've done anything before, you might have more data on here. But either way, if you click on the new Custom Match button, it will start setting up a new match. The first question it will ask you is whether you want to have an open match, a out when you're out match, or a pairs match. You can choose whichever suits you for this exercise. The material we've got works just as well for an open match as it does a pairs match. So please pick whichever is more suitable, either an open match or a pairs match. And the system will prompt you to enter the two teams. But on that screen, you can actually see some of the standard navigation. So top left is typically the back button. Top right is the go forward activity. Sometimes it's next, sometimes it's a bit more meaningful. But we need to put the two team names in. So for our exercise, we've got the plodders and the whackers. As we go through this course, I will work at a reasonable pace. If you find I'm going too fast, please just pause the video, do the next action that you need to do, and then let it run. Okay, next screen we see is the team selection screen. And across the top, it's showing me the two teams. So I've got plodders and whackers. The blue line under here tells me that I'm looking at the details for the plodders. If I've got players in that squad, it will give me the list of players, and the ones that I want, I can simply pick by pressing the plus buttons. If the player I want is not in the squad, then I can add a new custom player, and it just asks me to put in the information. So please, can you set up your plodders with the following players: Cook, Butler, Burns, Denley, Rashid, and Archer. I'm not going to make you put 11 players in. We're pulling in 6 because that's enough for the training that we're going to do tonight. And so I'm not going to pause a long time. Please pause the video for yourselves to allow yourself to enter that information. So at that point, you should have the plodders and you should have 6 players in the team. If you click on the edit button, you can then identify who's captain and who's wicket keeper. So by clicking on the dots, we get this menu. So I can put Cook in as captain. If I did the same for Butler, I could put them in as wicket keeper. If you're on an iPhone, there's a slightly different display, and you've got buttons down the right-hand side, or the ability to press the right-hand side to select a row. On the Android phones, to change the batting order, which is what they presumes that is, you can use the up and down arrows. On an Apple device, if you click on the end of the row and drag it, you can drag that row up and down. Just different ways to achieve the same thing. It's not that important to have your team in the right batting order. Team for the Whackers: Smith, Gilchrist, Shah, Klusner, Alderman and Thompson. And again, please hit the pause button to give yourself time to enter that. When you've done that and you go on the next button, you may get this screen that says you've got less than 11 players. That's fine. That's what we're trying to do today. So just click yes. The next thing we come into is match setup. And on your screen, this is actually one big scrolling screen, but I'm going to look at it in 3 sections. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the app settings, this top block. Strongly recommend you confirm the ball's delivered. This means you put something in and the system asks you to confirm that that's what you wanted to do. With a touch screen, it's very easy to press something you didn't mean to. So this is a good way of just ensuring you've pressed what you meant to. The wagon wheel allows you to record where the batters have hit the ball when they scored runs. It produces that nice diagram at the end. But frankly, if nobody's going to use it, I would switch it off, and certainly switch it off for this training exercise. It's just another sequence of buttons that you don't need to be pressing when you're learning, at least. Show players' full names. This can be quite useful because it will typically show a surname. And if you've got brothers, it's useful to be able to see the full name of the player to make sure you're picking the right one. Now we're into the middle section. These are the match settings. And in normal circumstances, you shouldn't have to change these. These will have been set up by the league. But to make the training work, please can you set overs per innings to 5? Maximum overs per bowler to 2. And then depending on whether you're running an open game or when you're running pairs, we need to set these values differently. If it's open, leave the wides and nose balls sections as they are. If it's pairs, set the no balls and wides to be a value of 2 in all circumstances, and set the re-bowl to no except in the final over. So that's that one that way, that one that way. Similarly for wides, swap them round. And then the last part of match settings, set a batter retirement limit of 10. This will just trigger the system to prompt you to retire batsmen at a certain point. And this is one of the few times when you will need to shout out to the umpires when the batter has reached a retirement limit, because they won't be counting the runs for each batter. If you're running a pairs game, we need to set this information. So yes, it's multiple dismissals. Overs per pair is 4. Maximum balls in an over is 10. Start runs, start the total at 200. Runs lost per wicket is 5. And change striker on wicket, yes. These are all the basic parameters of the Junior Championship. So that is the rules. That is the way it will be. Okay, next screen will prompt us to put the winner of the toss and what they decided to do. So the Plodders won the toss and they've elected to bowl. So that means the Whackers will bat first. So put that information in. And then it asks us how we want to score. Ball by ball is the answer. This is the real advantage of having electronic scoring. Score manually is just like having a paper scorebook, and really is giving up a lot of the advantages of having the app. Right, so we're ready to start the match. So set up the innings. and we will be prompted for the striker, which is G. Smith, the non-striker, which is Gilchrist, and the bowler is Archer. Okay, so we're ready to start the match, and this is the standard scoring screen. So at the top, you've got the innings. That's one view. We'll look at ball by ball in a minute, or a bit later. You've got the two teams. You've got the current score situation. So we haven't started, so it's 0 for 0. Two batters, with the striking batter highlighted in dark blue, the bowler highlighted in blue, and then the action buttons, dot ball, numbers of runs, wides, no balls, leg byes, etc. So that's where we are to start with. We'll walk through the first over. So the first delivery, umpire signals boundary 4. So we press on the 4. The screen changes to show us the first delivery, and it thinks we want to enter 4 runs. We do, so we click on the tick. Second delivery, no runs, no signal. We click on the dot and we confirm. Third delivery, batters run 3, umpire signals leg byes. So first thing we do is we press the leg byes. And there you can see we got third ball is a leg bye. We need to tell it there were 3. So we press on the 3. And now it's saying the third ball is 3 leg byes. We're happy. We click on the tick. Fourth delivery, umpire signals boundary 4, so 4 and tick. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal, so dot and tick. Sixth delivery, no runs, no signal, so dot and tick. Umpire signals over, or calls and signals over, and depending on what we're doing, if we're doing an open game, we'll get this confirmation screen, which shows us the deliveries in the over, summary for the bowler, and what the score is. If we're doing a pairs game, we get much the same information, but the total's slightly different because we started at 200. In either case, we're happy. It's the end of the over, so we click on end over. Second over is going to be bowled by Rashid, and the system prompts us to select the bowler, so we do that. And the second over, and say, I will run through this fairly quickly. This might be a time when you want to press the pause button. First delivery, no runs, no signal. Second delivery, no runs, no signal. Third delivery, the batters run 2 and the umpire signals wide. So we click on the wide button. First time we do that, we get prompted to confirm what our wide situation is. Now, in the example I used, it was the open match, so it's asking me to confirm it was 1 run, which I'm doing. And the batters ran 2, so it's 1 for my penalty plus the 2 that they ran, so I actually need it to say 3 wides. If I'm in a pairs game, that would have said 2, and then I need to click on the 4 because the 2 that the batters run plus the penalty of 2 means 4. Either way, when I've got it incorrectly, I confirm that. Fourth delivery, no runs, no signal. Fifth delivery, the striker is out LBW. So the red wicket button will bring up this screen. It assumes it's the striker, which it is. If we select dismissal type, it gives us the range of dismissal types. So we pick LBW and we confirm that through. Now, if we've got a pairs game, it will be waiting for the next ball because the batters will have changed over. If we've got an open game, we need to pick a new batter. So please pick Shah as your next batter for the open game. Sixth delivery, no runs, no signal. So we get to the end of the over. And again, we get our summary. Sorry, if we're in a pairs game, we get to the end of our over. In an open game, we have to have 6 legal deliveries. So we had that, as we had a wide in that over, there needs to be a 7th delivery. So for the open match, you get a 7th delivery, which is no runs, no signal. In the pairs match, just ignore that. It wouldn't happen. So there you get the two different mechanisms for ending the over. Third over, first delivery, umpire signals boundary 4. Second delivery, batters run 1, there is no signal. Third delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth delivery, the batter is given out caught by Burns and the batters have crossed. So once we've hit the wicket button, we get the screen comes up, we change the dismissal type to caught, credit the fielder, Burns, and we put in crossed. And the reason we put in crossed is because the batters will now be at the opposite ends to which you might otherwise assume. If you've got an open match, you need to pick a next batter and you can pick whoever you choose. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Sixth delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth over, same bowler, so we don't need to change the bowler, we just confirm. First delivery, no runs, no signal. Second delivery, no runs, no signal. Third delivery, batters run 1 and there's no signal. Fourth delivery, batters run 1 and there's no signal. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Sixth delivery, batters run 2 and there is no signal. Okay, if you're running a pairs game, you're going to be prompted to select the next 2 batters because those first 2 batters have had their 4 overs. So pick whichever 2 batters you choose. And we've got a change of bowler. So although it's offering us Archer, we need to select Denley as the new bowler for the 5th over. So 5th over, batters run first delivery, batters run 2 and there's no signal. Second delivery, umpire calls no ball. The keeper misses it and it runs away to the boundary. The umpire signals to us no ball, which we acknowledge. Buys, which we acknowledge. Boundary 4, which we acknowledge. And now we come to enter the score. So once we've put the no ball in, we can then click on buy. It gives us no ball plus buy. Then we click on the 4 and we get no ball plus 4 buys. And we click OK because we're happy with that. Third delivery, batters run 1, there's no signal. Fourth delivery, umpire signals boundary 4. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Sixth delivery, 2 runs, and the umpire signals wide. So we click on wide, and again, depending on what we're in, it's either 3 if it's an open game or 4 wides if it's a pairs game. The penalty plus what was actually run. Now, because this is the last over of our match and I've made it artificial, even in a pairs game, we're going to have more than 6 deliveries. So for both matches, you should enter the 7th delivery as a boundary 4. And the 8th delivery, no runs, no signal. And you'll get prompted for the end of over. System knows the inning should have 5 overs, so it then prompts you for, it says, is it the end of innings and a compulsory close? And yes, we're happy with that. So we say yes. That's the end of the first innings. And what we should see on our screen now is the total for the whackers and relatively little information because it's sitting there between innings. When we're ready for the second innings, we click on the new innings button and we're prompted for the striker, the non-striker and the bowler, who are Cook, Butler and Thompson respectively. Over 1, first delivery, no runs, no signal. Second delivery, no runs, no signal. Third delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth delivery, batters run 2, umpire signals leg by. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Sixth delivery, no runs, no signal. Second over, so the umpire calls and signals over. Second over, the bowler is Alderman. First delivery, no runs, no signal. Second delivery, umpire calls no ball, the batters run 2, and the umpire repeats the no ball signal to us. We acknowledge. So we get no ball, and this time, because it's runs off the bat, the penalty will naturally come through, so we just put the 2 runs in. No ball plus 2 runs. Third delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth delivery, batter hits the ball and umpire signals boundary 6. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Umpire calls over, and we're not going to interrupt him, so we're sitting here with our screen, the system's expecting a 6th delivery. We're not going to get one, but it gives us a way out. There's an end over button. So we click on that, and the system just wants to make sure that we're right, and it tells us how many legal deliveries we've had, which is slightly different in pairs and open cricket. Either way, we want to say yes, the umpire has decided the over shall end at that point. So we click yes. Third over, first delivery, batters run 1 and there is no signal. Second delivery, batters run 1 and there is no signal. Third delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth delivery, ball hits the batter, the umpire makes the pre-signal, ball crosses the boundary. So the umpire signals to us leg byes, which we acknowledge, then the umpire signals boundary 4, which we acknowledge. So leg byes plus the 4 gives us 4 leg byes, which we confirm. However, after you've done that, you look up and you notice the umpire is signaling revoke the last signal. We acknowledge the revoke, and the umpire confirms the boundary 4. So we have 2 choices. We can hit the back button, and that will erase the last delivery that we've put in, and we can just put in that it was 4 runs rather than 4 leg byes. Or if we click on the ball by ball option, we get to see a different view. So as you can see, this second over, first balls, first delivery, second delivery, third delivery, fourth delivery, we can click on the edit button and it will show us what it's recorded, that Cook was striking, Thompson bowling, that it was leg byes, and there were 4 of them. If we click on that, we're able to change the leg byes to runs and click done. And that will now update the scoring record to show that that was actually 4 runs rather than 4 leg byes. Fifth delivery, no runs, no signal. Sixth delivery, no runs, no signal. The umpire doesn't call over, but the system thinks it should be, so it's prompting you to end the over. Before you click this button, always look at the umpire and make sure that they have finished the over. If not, as in this case, we need to continue this over. Seventh delivery, the batters run 1 and there is no signal. So we record that information, the umpire then calls over, and when this screen pops up again, we can end the over, but it will have 7 deliveries in it. Fourth over, bowled by Shah. First delivery, batters run 1 and there's no signal. Second delivery, no runs, no signal. Third delivery, no runs, no signal. Fourth delivery, the batters run 1, the ball is thrown in and misses everyone. The umpire signals boundary 4 and then raises a full hand with splayed fingers. It's basically the 1 initial run plus 4 overthrows. So we need to record 5 runs. This button with 5 plus is for anything out of the ordinary. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are the normal scores. If we click on 5 plus, we get this screen, which in this case we don't have to touch because it's 5 runs. If it was more than 5, if they'd run 6, if they'd run 3 and then there were 4 overthrows, we'd need to put 7 in. Or if it was penalties, this is where we would enter penalties. So 5 penalties to the batting team or to the bowling team as appropriate. But in this case, we just need to click done because it's 5 runs. 5th delivery, batters run 1 and there's no signal. 6th delivery, the batters run 1 and there is no signal. So that's the end. The umpire signals over and we close that over off. The 5th over is to be bowled by Klusner. 1st delivery, the batters run 2, but the umpire signals short run. So we enter the 1 run, and then once that's been entered, we need to make sure that the right batter is on strike. The system will assume the other batter is there because it thinks they only ran 1. We know that they ran up and back. So we click on the dots next to the batter, pick the change strike option, and that will swap them over so the correct batter is facing. 2nd delivery, umpire signals boundary 6. 3rd delivery, no runs, no signal. 4th delivery, umpire signals boundary 4. 5th delivery, batters run 2 and there's no signal. So we put the 2 runs into the system, but in doing so, Cook is injured and is replaced by Burns. So we click on Cook. This time we click change batter. We pick the new batter, so Burns, and then it asks us why we're changing the batter. We could have got it wrong and somebody could have now told us that that helmeted individual out there wasn't ever Cook, it was always Burns, so we might be changing it to because it's an error. The batter might be retiring because they've reached their limit of runs that they can score, or they might be retiring when they're hurt. In this case, they're retiring hurt. So we click on the retire hurt. And now we've got Butler and Burns batting. 6th delivery, no runs, no signal. So that's the end of that over in the match. So we get the first innings for both teams is now concluded. Do you wish to end the match? Now this is the standard version. We get slightly different sequences between standard and pairs. So we say, okay. We could, if we knew there were any errors, we could edit it, but we don't know there are, so we click OK. And if we finalize the result, this uploads it to the website. Now that freezes it on the phone, but does mean that it can be updated on the website. So if we subsequently find there's an error that needs to be corrected, the wrong catcher or similar, it can be updated on the website. It's not frozen forever, ever. And in that sense, the plodders lost because it didn't quite get enough runs. If you're doing a pairs match, you get a slightly different message. 5 overs have been bowled. Do you wish to close the innings? Yes. Click on the dots, change the match status. We want to end the match. We have to confirm that. In this case, interestingly, that the plodders won because in pairs they scored 240 against the 235. So that's the end of the sequence of events that I wanted to go through. Hopefully that all makes sense. I suspect you may have some questions. Clearly I'm not online, but you do have my contact details, so please feel free to contact me and ask any questions, and I'll do my best to provide answers as promptly as I can. That's the end of this presentation. You may wish to go on and do open scoring in a book. That's the other module, or open score or pair scoring on a sheet. Those are the other modules available to you. Well, I would strongly recommend you consider electronic scoring for both junior cricket and if you move on to adult cricket that's in a league. It's just so much easier in terms of uploading the results to the league system. That just leaves me to thank you for your attention and to wish you well.